Hey guys, how's it going? Excoundrel here. Who else would it be, I guess? How is everyone doing? It's Sunday today, and I am wearing my dressing gown still. Well, I'm wearing my parents' dressing gown because it's really cold in their house because they've gone back to Italy. So they don't have the heating on. So if you ever wonder why I'm wearing a dressing gown in a video, it's usually because I'm cold. So, today's video, we're going to be looking at Camille jungle played in the Zenith Grand League finals between Tribe and Goons. You've got a lot of recognizable faces on the Tribe roster. If you're a Vainglory fan and a fan of Vainglory Esports, you'll recognize Old School, you'll recognize Max Green, you'll recognize Starting All Over. But they also have some AOV pros in there. They've got 80s, so you might remember 80s from AOV. Not sure who their jungler Zero is. I'm assuming he's got a background in one of those two games. And also, you've got Twitch Hoon on Goons, and you've got Yikes, who I'm sure a lot of you will know as content creators within the Wild Rift space. So really, really good players in this game. But I'm focusing on the Camille jungle because I'm seeing it played a lot in pro play, and I want to analyze it. I want to have a look at it and see whether I think it's a valuable pick. So we're going to look at this finals. We're going to analyze it. We're also going to do some general educational stuff. So I hope you learn a lot. I like to take what the pros are doing and break it down so that everybody can learn, and that's the point of this video. Also, thanks to G2A for sponsoring the channel. Reference link in the description below, and thank you for entering the April giveaway. I will do the drawing, not today because I have to go, but I will do the drawing the next time I come to my parents, which is likely going to be like Monday or Tuesday. And then I'll announce the winners in a comment on the video that I'm announcing the winners in. And then you can just make sure that you contact me on social media to ensure that you can get added and we can get you the skins given to you. So I hope you're all well, and also apologies if I'm not getting videos out as much as I used to. The reason is I just don't have internet in my house right now, which is why I'm coming back and forth from my parents' house because my computer is set up here because they've got internet, but I don't have internet in my house. So playing Wild Rift and actually creating content in Wild Rift is really hard right now. But I'm hoping, I've been told by the 17th of May, they'll have the work started to get the internet on. So I'm hoping in the next month I'll have internet. But for the time being, I'm going to be a little bit sporadic coming to and from my parents. But let's jump into the game. I don't want to keep you anymore, so we'll see you soon. So I wanted to do another esports video today, guys. We are going to be looking at a game that was the grand finals between Tribe and Goons. It was the Zenith League grand finals, which happened earlier this week. And I wanted to focus a little bit on it because it had a couple of really interesting pickups. But specifically, I've been seeing a lot more of this. And even though I didn't rate it at first, this Camille jungle, which you can see on your screen here, I've been seeing way more Camille jungle recently, and so I'm maybe going to have to admit that I might have been wrong on Camille jungle. There's a lot of good players here. You've got Yikes, who a lot of you will know. He plays, I believe he plays between AD carry and jungle, and then you have Twitch Hoon, so I'm sure a lot of you know as well. So this is a team made up of some very skilled players, but obviously, you know, Tribe, the North American version of Tribe, are made up of Ex-Vainglory player, Ex-Vainglory player, Ex-Vainglory pro player, ex-AOV pro player, and I don't know who 08 is, but I'm going to assume that he's from either AOV or maybe from the Vainglory community. But you have Vainglory World Champion, very, not Vainglory World Champion, but very skilled Vainglory player, Vainglory World Champion, and I think like an AOV North American champion. So you've got a very talented roster for the Tribe NA roster. They're pretty insane. But I want to focus on the Camille jungle here because this is not something that, you know, it's something that I have to change my opinion of. Now, unfortunately, the Trovo VOD will only let me go to 720p, so we're going to have to analyze this in 720p. But I want you to take a moment to not buffer, please, Trovo. I'm on very good internet, so you shouldn't buffer. Okay, there we go. So, Zero has gone from red buff to Raptors and is heading up to blue buff. So if you remember my jungle guide video, which you haven't seen, I'll put in the link up here. It's essentially, this is an adjusted buff to buff rotation. So red buff into one camp into blue buff. And because Camille is relatively single target focused, this is the best way for her to accelerate her game plan. This is going to now allow a Camille to go to the River Scuttler, spawning on the top side of the map. And you can see actually Vi has gone and done the same thing, but because Vi has a slightly quicker clear speed, Vi has been able to go to the Razorbeaks, to Wolves, to blue buff, and then should get to the spawn of the bottom scuttle in time as well. As you can see, she pops out. So Vi has been able to take one camp extra, but I think actually what we've seen from Vi is the better way to approach this early game. You want to rush 5 as quickly as possible when you're playing Vi. So does Camille, but obviously Vi can do that a little quicker because she's able to clear the camps a little bit more quickly than a Camille is able to do so. But Camille is much better at fighting and dueling in the early game, and so therefore, to see Camille do that. Now, what we've seen here, I'm just going to pause the VOD if I can. Let's watch what we've seen here. Do you remember? Let's link this back to my jungle video. Camille went red, Razorbeaks, blue, scuttle. She knows that Vi has started at red and come down and taken the bottom scuttle because they've seen her there. So you have two options. You either head back into your own blue side jungle and take away the Gromp or the Wolves, or because you have priority in the mid lane and you currently have priority in the top lane, you walk in, you get a ward down, and you go for some counter jungling. Vi, on the other hand, has gone straight back into her own jungle. So who benefits from this? Camille massively benefits from this. And the reason Vi can't walk into the bottom side jungle is when you look at where the bot lane is right now. It's too easy for Alistair and Kai'Sa to come and stop her taking Krugs. However, it's a little bit more difficult as a Malphite to stop a Camille taking Krugs by herself. So you always have advantage if you're on blue side of the map. You always have advantage to go for Krugs because you only have to deal with one enemy laners. Whereas if you're on red side and you want to go for an invade on Krugs, you have to deal with the bot lane, which is 2 enemies. So you always have an advantage going for a Krug invade when you're on blue side because you have less issues in terms of the enemy stopping you from doing so. So Camille's going to get a slight advantage out of this. Now, Lebmont is level 5, so he's clearly going to be looking for a gank opportunity within the next rotation. Looks like Zero is going to be able to get, I think, close to level 5 off the back of these Krug takes. Should be there or thereabouts. You can see Vi walking into the jungle. She will just see now that her Krugs have been taken away, but she has got a level advantage. As you can see, she's level 5. She's got a level advantage on her opposite number. So now is the opportunity to look for a potential gank. It looks like Gragas is very, very kind of wise to this. Crazy action happening in the bot lane here. Honestly, you're seeing a very meta set of bot laners right now. Like Ezreal and Kai'Sa, both really, really strong bot laners in the current meta. Goes a little bit wide on the Ziggs ultimate there, just looking to put pressure on. I actually quite like that Ziggs ultimate from starting, just like trying to put a bit of pressure on them under tower, like make them have a difficult decision. You can't miss this wave though if you're Yikers and Rest, so you're gonna have to stay, clear this wave, and you'll be a little bit late backing here, but you should get back in time for the dragon, which is spawning obviously in 50 seconds. So both Vi and Camille are level 5 junglers. What do I mean by level 5 junglers? They generally have the most impact when they have their ultimates available. Yes, they can gank before that, but if you want to set up a gank yourself, both the Vi ultimate and the Camille ultimate are pretty important. What I love, what we're seeing here from Zero, is he's walking in through the bottom side brushes and is essentially looking for an opportunity to gank. Now, they're going to know that she's there because they have a ward in the side brush, so a clever ward from Yikers and Rest to make sure they don't get caught out. But clearly, we are now gearing up for a dragon fight. Now, the Scuttler should be secured here. We still have a level advantage, a slight experience advantage for Lebmont. He might be able to get level 7 by taking this Gromp. We'll have to see whether Zero can hit level 7 himself, but I like this from Lebmont. Just get any kind of opportunity, any kind of advantage that you can. Hits level 7, so now has a level advantage, which means he has a smite damage advantage. Great zone from starting, and actually Max is buying time. Beautiful, beautiful stop on the dragon from both starting and Max Green, and that has now disjointed the fight completely. Will be first blood for the goons, and they have a really nice redemption, but you would trade 1 kill for dragon any day of the week. So really lovely stuff from starting, really lovely stuff from Max Green. They weren't looking to fight, they were just looking to zone away the goons from getting in to the dragon, which is really nice. And that level advantage that Lebmont has, completely wasted now because the setup was not very good from the goons. They really needed to find and engage before Tribe were able to set up on the dragon. Because Tribe were able to set up on the dragon, that allowed the Alistair and it allowed the Ziggs to set up their defensive lines. And once those defensive lines are set up, it's a little bit too difficult to break them if you're goons, unless you're just going to go straight for a Malphite ultimate. But unfortunately, they were a little bit split. They didn't have the right focus. It is what it is. But I like what the goons have done here. The goons have rotated back up. Let's take a look at that fight again. Nice cask to disengage from 80s, and they used the ultimate to secure the kill onto old school. But again, you trade one kill for dragon any day of the week, and you can see that Yikes and Rest have rotated up towards this top lane tower. Interestingly enough, Tribe's bot lane are not rotating. They are going to stay. Looks like we've got a catch on to 0, taken down very low. Oh, Max Green comes in and says, how is he alive? Trades one back. I don't think Hoon's getting out of this. Might be able to, actually. He has... Oh, that's... I mean, a little bit of a waste in the ultimate. I don't think he needed to use it, but that was really well played from Hoon. I don't know how he got away with that. That has given them enough pressure to go for the Rift Herald now. So that little solo play there from Hoon and from Lebmont, nice little bit of solo pressure to allow them to go for this Rift Herald, and that should be relatively uncontested. I think what Tribe are trying to do is take the bot lane tier 1 in response, or at least get a lot of pressure on it. But Malphite is clearing waves relatively easily. However, a lot of damage has come onto this mid lane tier 1. Like, this is very close. Oh, starting very close to taking that down, but didn't quite have the damage. Like, once he gets a couple more basic attacks in, yeah, this is easy. Easy enough. Okay, I mean, you're happy. You're very happy with Tribe. I mean, the rotation from Akali was really good until you realized that you left the Ziggs in the mid lane completely uncontested, taking the mid lane tier 1. And why? I'm going to pause the video here because I want to talk a little bit about why mid lane tier 1 is really important. So I talk a little bit about why mid lane tier 1 is really important. This tower right here. This is what I mean by mid lane tier 1. The tower that you have on either side of the mid lane. So why is this mid lane tier 1 tower really important? Well, because you have a tower here, the enemy cannot easily do this. The enemy cannot easily go into your jungle. One second. The enemy cannot easily go into your... Oh, that's the wrong way. I want to make it smaller. The enemy cannot easily go into your jungle like this, okay? That's what happens when you've got a mid lane tier 1. When you don't have a mid lane tier 1, the enemy can walk in through the jungle through here. They can go in through here. They can go in through here and here into your blue and red side jungle, and it is very difficult to stop them. You don't have a safety net in this part of the lane at all. So there is no safety net. If you want to be aggressive and stop them going into your jungle to get vision down and you get caught out, you do not have the safety net of a tower. Moreover, the enemy can also sneak into the jungle like this, just about. They can get into the jungle like this. So there are 2 extra avenues further up the lane and 2 now completely safe avenues into the jungle when you take that mid lane tier 1 down. Now, what does that mean? It means you can get vision here. I'm going to put the size up again. It means you can get vision here. Here. It means you can get vision here. 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 You can get deep vision down in the enemy jungle, and that basically tells you where the enemy is at all time. They are not safe in their own jungle. It allows you to expand your range of vision, and it makes it much more difficult to prevent the or stall the game out. And also prevent the enemy from being aggressive. If you lose your mid lane tier 1, the best way to remedy that is put a ward here, because the vision provides the tower provides vision, and when the tower's gone, you no longer have that vision. So putting a ward where the mid lane tier 1 would have been will at least give you information of enemies trying to enter the jungle through here and here, setting up control for those river areas. Once you've got mid lane tier 1 down, you have really, really good control of the river, because you can get vision into the enemy jungle deeper, giving you information about enemies trying to come into the river, which is really important for neutral objective control. Okay, we're going to go back to the game now. I realized I talked a lot about why mid lane tier 1 is important without ever really talking about the reasons. And so that's kind of just explaining the reasons behind the mid lane tier 1 take, which is really good. Haven't seen much from the Camille jungle yet, though. She's just died. I saw a lot of it in the the Southeast Asian tournament, which is really strong. But one of the things that Camille does allow you to do is this. But Janna is a really good counter into Camille, for the simple reason that if Camille ults her, you just use your ultimate. However, Hoon is popping off right now on this Akali. That's insane. Beautiful engage from Max Green, though. Huge engage. Just needs the follow-up. So many low HP bars. Old School jumps in. That'll be the redemption coming through, buying a little bit of time for them. But that is a really nice re-engage from Max Green. Big tick for Max Green. That was a super big re-engage. Yeah, the problem that you obviously have here is that Janna is a really good counter into Camille for that reason. If Camille uses her ult near Janna, Janna can just use her ult, blow her out of the Hextech ultimatum boundaries, and once Camille leaves the boundaries, it cancels the ultimate. So that's one of the problems with Janna into Camille. Looks like Tribe were able to get their second tower of the game. So one of the things that Zig still does really well, can just roam between lanes. Looks like they are willing to trade this. They're willing to trade this dragon for towers. That's beautiful from 80s. I think Lemont's going to drop. No, Lemont's not going to drop here. That's enough. That's enough prevention though, to stop them getting another tower in that lane. That's enough prevention to stop them getting for another tower in that lane. Zero is now going to get a free Ocean Drake. Not entirely sure that was worth. I would much prefer to have seen the Herald dropped and then they walk towards Dragon. So the Herald creates natural pressure, or you drop it mid lane to create some natural pressure on the enemy tier 1 in the mid. They trade one tower back, which is obviously gold, but you have 2 Drakes now on Tribe, and it's very difficult to quantify how big or how much gold Drakes provide you. A whole Old School jumps in onto Rest, who's just dead, and now it's Hoon. Hoon's not going to take that Shuriken, knows it's a little bit too risky because Camille is there. Camille is a good answer into Akali, because obviously you can just Hextech ultimate on the Akali. I love that Hoon jumps in straight onto Old School. Old School gets taken out. Beautiful stuff from Hoon. Really, really insane Akali play from him. Actually putting a lot of pressure on Tribe early on here. Again, I haven't really seen the Camille do enough right now for me to kind of warrant saying that it's OP. I think for Camille to be really strong, you want to be ganking lanes as much as possible, but the laning phase ended super early in this game. So now you just have like a subpar Camille, because you could have had Camille in the Baron lane and had way more gold. But nonetheless, we still have a very strong Kai'Sa, and Starting is still doing well on his... I mean, we have a 1,300 gold lead for Kai'Sa, and Starting's got about the same gold as the Akali, who's got 3 kills, so Starting's just been farming really well, and also getting the free tower plates and killing towers. So we have equal mid laners, and we have a slight lead to the AD carry for Tribe. Okay, so like I said, Vision should be getting advanced as much as possible if you're Tribe at this point. Like, you want Vision here, you want some Vision here. You want to know where goons are pretty much at any stage of the game. Especially, with the next Drakes being important, like the next one's Infernal. And obviously we also have the Baron to think about, which has just spawned. So Baron's obviously going to be a key target. Let's watch this again. So Hoon uses the Vision on Alistair to use his ultimate to then close the gap and combo with Lamont. He then saves the second part of perfect execution, waits for the barrier to time out, and jumps in. That was just super nice from Hoon. Really good stuff. Putting a lot of pressure onto Old School here. Your key to victory is killing Old School or Starting. Once they're down, the team fight has got nothing. You've got no juice left in the team fight. The entire rest of the Tribe roster is basically here to peel for Starting and for Old School. 80's got bopped here, but the barrier kept him alive, and I think Hoon jumps. Oh no, he went the wrong way. That's devastating. He was out and he went the wrong way with his Shuriken, and now the Malphite gets locked up. Nice heal coming out from the Janna to keep them alive for the time being. Yikes just can't get enough damage down. They trade 1 though, so it's 1-for-1 overall. Hoon was so nearly out of that fight as well. Don't think they're in a good enough spot to go for the Baron though. Yikes took a little bit too much damage from that bomb. That's one of the problems with Ziggs. Ziggs can just throw bombs, and yeah, if you get hit by a couple of them in the mid to late game, your HP is just gone. However, Lamont secures the vision around the Baron, so they're going to have a little bit of free vision around the Baron area for the time being, so that's going to help nullify any Baron pressure that Tribe can put onto this game. It's still a relatively even game as well. Like, 2k at 12 minutes is a very, very even gold lead. We are just now looking at nothing. Nice Mr. Blast Cone over here. Okay, we're back. So, I'm not convinced of what I've seen from Camille thus yet far, but it's a really good answer into Ezreal, and it's a really good answer into Akali, so that would make sense. Nice engage straight onto the back line here, although they're the two tankiest members that you're trying to deal with, or they take out starting on the Ziggs. Here comes the engage, though. Just wait for Zero's ultimate use. He can use it on the Ezreal, or he can use it on the Akali. Still, they can't quite get into the fight as of yet. We need to get a bit of healing from Old School. Old School needs these minions to heal up, but it's Infernal Drake that's being started. Zero just looking for the angle. Yaike is doing a really good job of zoning him away, and they will lose the Infernal. Great pickup. Great engage from Amazing in the top lane. Nice follow-up from Twitchhoon. Just keeping an eye. So the GA's been finished. Yeah, so the reason Camille gets picked here is that, you know, if you use your Hextech Ultimatum on the Ezreal, he can't dash out of it, and you can also use it on the Akali to prevent her from dashing and killing your Kai'Sa. So there are two really good targets for the Camille Hextech Ultimatum here. But again, like, would I have just preferred to have Camille in the Baron lane and then brought out a jungler maybe like Evelynn or Lee Sin? I guess the one thing that Camille provides over Evelynn or Lee Sin is she provides a little bit more utility, in the sense that she has the stun, she has the slow, she has the ultimate. Starting's got to be a little careful here. They're going straight in. I mean, they are bopping Old School as much as possible. Really lovely stuff from Zero to just zone away. Amazing, though. But Old School does go down. Looks like Starting will be able to get the return kill. Oh, that's a huge shield coming out from the Janna. Cask gets it, though. 80s pops in. Stuns coming through eventually from the Camille, who still has her GA and will keep it. 80's kind of saving the day here, getting a couple of kills back. It's a 2-for-1 overall, so actually Tried come out on top in that fight. Old School was able to keep himself safe for a huge amount of time with a really good ultimate, and actually forced Hoon and Lemont to separate from the rest of the team. And what I really liked what Zero did with his ultimate there is he used it on Amazing, so the front line was separated completely, so that if, you know, that he was no longer a threat, couldn't chase Old School down. And also, when using on Amazing, he knocked back the rest of the team as well. So that was a really, really well played team fight from Tribe. It's very difficult when you're playing a Kai'Sa and a Ziggs to deal with the combo of a Malphite, an Akali, and a Vi, because they've got so much single target lockdown and so much single target execution pressure. So, you know, you need to have your summoner spells available to ensure that you're in the best possible place to deal with the threat that comes from the type of champions that Goons have got here. It's a really tense game, though. This is the final game in the series. Or could be the final game in the series, you know, obviously if Tribe win. I haven't actually watched these games yet. This is the first time that I've watched it, so. Zorro's now picked up his Blade of the Ruined King, so he's got 3 items on the Camille. This is a pretty big power spike for him. It's like, this is the next biggest power spike that you can get after going for the Triforce. The Triforce is the first big power spike for Camille. 3 items is usually considered the next big power spike. Although, you know, Yikes has gone for Triforce. I actually don't like Triforce this game. That's a little bit overcommit from Amazing. They don't actually have the follow-up, and you can see that Max Green is basically buying time. Great cask from Hoon. Beautiful stuff. That is why you pick. That is why you pick the Camille into the Akali. Like, Akali knocked out off her shroud twice, but in the meantime, the rest of the team got absolutely bopped. Yikes just kind of crushing it on the Ezreal here. But 80s doing a load of damage. The stun comes through. Should be able to pick him off. He does flash away here. Or rather, yeah, flash away. But it's a quadra kill for 80s on the AP Gragas. Nutty play from him. Really, like, these two comboed so well to deal with Hoon on the Akali. You cask him out of the shroud, stun him so he can't get back in, and then Hextech ultimatum him so he's almost impossible as well. They have a good 20 seconds for this mid lane tower. I mean, they've got Lichbane, they've got Camille. I think they could straight up win the game here. You've got Lichbane on the Gragas. You have Camille with the empowered basic attacks. And we get the kill. Yeah, we get the win. There we go. Okay, so my thought process here, if we can write it down. Number 1, Camille. This is going to take forever. All right, we're going to stop that. Camille is situational. Camille is good into certain comps. She's really good at locking down high mobility targets like Ezreal and Akali. She's got good ganks. She's got good ganks post level 5, so you want to play a jungle path that gets you to level 5 as quickly as possible. But you don't want to lose your River Scuttler because you're a slow clearer. So what we saw Zero do this game was red buff into Raptors, or Razorbeaks into blue buff into Scuttle. She then went for a relatively aggressive invade into the Krugs, which you can do, but doesn't get you level 5. Whereas if you went back to your Gromp and then went to your Wolves, you would hit level 5. So swings and roundabouts, you could do what the Vi did, which means you could go red buff, Razorbeaks, Wolves, blue, but you'll be late to the Scuttle. So remember, when you're playing Camille jungle, it's all about getting level 5 as quickly as possible, because level 5 is where your real power spike as a jungler comes online. One of the things that you can do nicely is you can obviously get over wolves easily, so that allows you to have some unique gank paths. Also allows you to get into objectives to be able to either smite steal or engage really nicely. We saw the setup for the objective for the first Drake was super nice because Camille was just able to jump over the wall and start it off. And the setup was really good. But specifically, the true power of Camille comes in the team fights when you're dealing with specific carries. Great at locking Akali down, great at locking Ezreal down, and when used correctly, can really help keep your backline safe and alive. So super, super good play from him towards the end. I wasn't impressed in the early game, but I started to see the value of it into certain compositions as the game went on. So really good stuff from Zero, and great from Tribe. They end up winning the Zenith League over Goons 3-0, which is awesome. All right, I hope this analysis of Camille Jungle was pretty good, and I hope you enjoyed it. I'm sorry that I'm not producing as much content right now. I just don't have internet at my house, so I'm still at my parents'. Well, I'm not living at my parents', but I'm having to drive to and from my parents to make videos and do work. It's just a pain in the bum. But anyway, I will see you soon, guys.